Magnificent trophy. The players will now pose for some photos. There's the handshake. Junhui against Kyren Wilson for the World Open Snooker title. The first to 10 frames to collect that magnificent piece of silverware, and it's Ding to get us underway. 4 frames before the interval. And this their 7th meeting, with Ding having won 4 of the previous 6. They've met twice already this year. Ding winning at the Masters at Alexandra Palace in London, and Kyren Wilson returning the compliment at the China Open.
Yeah, 9 frames to be played in this opening session. Always looking to get off to a good start if you can. What it does mean as well, Phil, of course, we've calculated the rankings, and £75,000 difference today. And Ding would go up to number 2 above John Higgins, and Kyren Wilson, who's back in the top 16 now, will go up to number 9. So we'd go from 15 to 9. That's incredible. So a lot to play for. Well, very close. Twice. Could have done with just taking the cue ball a little bit further down the table, though, because Ding has this one. I think he can hold for the pink as well. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, Phil, today, isn't it, how this one pans out? I think overall, I know Kyren's played well in a couple of matches, but I think overall Ding's been slightly more consistent this week in all of his matches across the board.
One of his most impressive victories was his comeback win over Li Hang, who's been playing very consistently of late. Made the semi-finals, Li, in Guangzhou, losing to Brissell, and he was 3-1 down in that match and struggling a bit, but he played superbly after the interval, a couple of centuries, and dominated the table to win 5-3, winning 4 frames in a row. And yesterday, not at his best, but was clearly the stronger player in his match with Brissell. He made the bigger breaks.
Yeah, and I think Brissell, Luke, I like calling the first names, he had a chance to put Ding under a little bit of pressure, but didn't do so towards the end of that match.
Hey.
Well, went ultra aggressive there. I think he's on one.
13.
He's already tasted success this season, of course, in the World Cup, partnering Liang Wenbo to glory.
Well, having to concentrate on the blue at the moment. The red near the brown is available. We would like to get on the red near the black as soon as possible, just to sort of free up things at this end of the table. would you believe that? That's incredible.
Junhui, 20.
Well, perhaps Ding Junhui got a poor contact there. Kyren Wilson certainly not taking any chances, having both the cue ball and the blue that stayed out. Polished. Not that that's necessarily a guarantee against kicks.
One.
So, Kyren Wilson with his first red of the final. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Four. Eleven. Twelve.
And that miss blue by Ding to the middle pocket could prove costly.
He has a tendency to raise his game against the very best in the world, Kyren Wilson. So he'll be well up for the challenge today.
20.
Let's try the other headset.
Well,
it's gone wrong. He was trying to get past those for the black.
The first mobile phone of the day. Let's hope that that doesn't become an issue. It certainly was in the first semi-final in particular yesterday. Peggy Lee beseeching the crowd to check their phones and also to be careful not to move when the players were down on the shot.
Kyren Wilson, 28.
Yeah, to the point that one person was ejected out of the arena.
Maximum concentration required. With so much at stake, £150,000 for the winner, of course, which equates to 150,000 ranking points.
Just taking the cue ball into bulk here, just cover the red down the table. With the green and brown. Well, don't tell me Ding can get through the gaps of this red, that would be amazing. Just make sure you got that cue ball to the back cushion. I think you can see this. Well, that's unbelievable. That's so careless of Kyren there. Well, 2 inches to the left or the right was perfect, but now it might be punished. Well, we talk about fractions, Phil, don't we? Evidence there.
Yes, indeed. And it will hurt Wilson if Ding can make a frame-winning contribution here.
No.
Just got his nose back in front here in this opening frame of this final. Still got that awkward red on the side cushion though.
$15. 16.
It gets a little bit harder from here. Still one open red after this one, of course. It's got to deal with the one on the cushion.
0.4.
That was nicely done.
31.
Now, which way is he going to go here? It might leave himself a double. Looking at it.
He needs the awkward red to clinch the frame.
He's got a bit of angle to sort of come round off a couple of cushions, but I think he's going to leave himself a double. Well, it's frame ball. If it goes in, sometimes you can knuckle these and leave them on. So it's a little bit of a risk in this one, especially that Kyren can still win. Where's it going to finish? Not bad.
Junhui, 38.
Better than not bad. Looks like a full ball snooker.
That's a bonus. Well, if he gets the right contact here, cushion first, he might get a snooker back behind the book colours. Push this red down the table. Well, not at that angle. It's going towards the corner. Well, I think it's frame over. Well, Kyren's had a chance. He's had a good chance in the middle of this frame.
So it looks like being first blood to Ding Junhui. The miss blew off its spot, which came as a surprise, not proving costly. And once again, movement. When the player's down on the shot, it is infuriating. It's not going to make any difference here, though.
3. 5.
the first frame of the session down then, and 8 more to go.
12. 17.
Only problem for Kyren here, if he starts giving Ding some table time, then he could be in trouble. I know there's a long way to go, but you can do the damage in the opening session.
23.
Not a bad positional shot.
Got potential, this lad.
30.
A nice little clearance of the colours from Ding Junhui to take the opening frame. His fans are delighted, all smiles. And no wonder. Great start from Ding. He takes the opener. Ding Junhui with the opening frame of our World Open final here, live from Yushan. And Ding going for frame ball red via a double.
The second frame.
Missed the double, but managed to snooker Kyren Wilson, and that proved to be very important because Wilson, in escaping the snooker, left the red 1-0 to the Chinese.
Yeah, another day out of that snooker, he probably would have got the red safe. Didn't get the correct contact. But he'll be looking to hit straight back here against Ding Junhui. And of course, Ding, all of a sudden 2-0, might become 3-0. You never know, we've seen it before, he could be off into the distance. But there was a long way to go. Next couple of frames will be interesting. I mean, I've mentioned the conditions of this week, Phil. The tables have played superbly, haven't they? We've had 1 or 2 kicks, a couple of bounces, but overall pretty good. And since the refit as well, for the semi-finals and the final, this is a nice pace.
47 centuries this week is testimony to that. The highest, Li Hang with a 143. That'll net him a £3,000 bonus if no one beats it in the final. But of course, if anyone makes a maximum, there's £30,000 up for grabs. The rolling prize, £5,000 for every tournament when a 147 isn't made.
Well, Ding's had 6 in competition. Kyren's highest break is 143 in competition play. Well, it's all happening for him at the moment. Clipped off the brown. Didn't really, well, he didn't want it in really. Very difficult to get this really tight to lay the snooker. He's trying to get the white to the cushion, I think.
Ding Junhui, 1.
Well, has he left the red, which is relatively close to the right centre pocket?
I don't know, there might be a gap there as we watch the replay. Look at this, off the brown. Didn't want it in. Found himself in trouble. Well, again, this is amazing because Kyren left that red in the bulk area between what was it, the green and the brown. Bit of deja vu there.
Yeah, Ding was looking to get the cue ball tight to the cushion, wasn't he? And sprung off rather more than he would have liked to leave the pot on.
Yeah, just going back to the tables and whatever. I don't think there's been any complaints from the players this week as regards conditions. I think they've been very good. Not bad. Well, especially now, I think the pink would go on to the black spot. In fact, he's looking at the red on the pink spot now. If the pink spots, he might take this one off the spot. Choosing this one.
7.
That wasn't to be sneezed at. Now this is going to be interesting to see if it goes on or not. Onto the black spot would help. I think the red still goes.
30.
Well, he had a good chance in the opening frame, Kyren, but great chance this to make the match level. Well, this final, I think, we should get better and better as the day unfolds. As these players find the rhythm, get into the conditions again.
21.
They've got sort of similar games, really, Phil. They like to attack, don't they? You know, they don't sort of go on the defensive. They, if there's stuff on there, they'll take it on.
Yes, it's got all the makings of a very entertaining final.
And for both players, as well as they have done to get here, just, I think it's going to come down to the odd shot, really, here and there.
26.
Fairly straight on the blue. Just hold the cue ball in the middle of the table with the right hand red there.
.32. .33.
It's okay. Overdid it for the middle, but the problem now is he's slightly out of position. It's difficult to see where the next red's coming from. And dead straight on the blue. He was looking to just play a little cannon into the bunch there from the blue. Well, he's looking at the green to come around the table for this red near the right-hand cushion. That needs to slow down. Well, that's a bit of a bonus.
36.
Not intended, but he'll take it.
Yeah, so he can get himself back onto the blue here, back in good position to play the cannon into the bunch. Well played.
37.
Now this could be a key shot. Just missed the pink on the left-hand side. Would be nice. And that was nice. Well played.
Very well controlled.
42.
Now this is a frame-winning opportunity.
.43.
Well, they're all there. Just don't get careless.
49.
I'll have to go down for the blue here, though, this time. I could help for the pink to the middle, actually. Yeah.
50.
Colour red colour should suffice.
$56. 57.
Oh, the blackest frame ball. Roll reversal for two high value colours. Doesn't really matter how you get there. Well, he's played these well. And putting the second frame on the board, he'll feel part of this final now.
64.
Could he go on to make impressive scoring from Wilson this week? It would actually be his 7th of the week, so he really has been prolific. He's missed the red though, and that might make Ding return to the table, which he is. He's had a result there, snookering Ding. Couple of snookers required.
Well, if he doesn't hit this, he might concede. Yeah, good hit.
So it's 1 snooker to tie for Ding, 2 to win.
Well, he shouldn't get the chance from here. Yeah, well done. Yeah, pretty solid frame from Kyren here. Just what he needed, really. Just settle himself down in this final. Well, missed the intended cannon.
7.
Trying to plant. Didn't really matter. I think Ding will concede.
7 and a frame.
Yes, the initial break of 64. A really good response to losing the opening frame, and Kyren Wilson levels the final. So game on. Battle joined. 1 frame apiece. Frame 3 coming up after the break. Shea Yixin, our referee, resetting the balls ahead of frame number 3 of a possible 19 here at the World Open final. Ding Junhui with the opening frame, but Kyren Wilson responding well with a break of 64 to level the match.
Healthy crowd in, Phil, for this final.
Yeah, no surprise with Ding at the table. Has an army of followers. Tens of millions more watching at home.
That's pretty good. Just to remind everybody at home, there's going to be 9 frames played in this first session. Of course, 10 if required in the evening session. That's nicely done as well. Well played. It's Hawkeye's view. He's got that one on the left hand side he could take on. It's not very inviting. Just a containing shot there from Ding Junhui. Well, I think Kyren can just get through to this left-hand red near the top cushion. He can swing the cue ball around back into the bulk area. Well, he might even get behind the brown, who knows? Well played. Well, now that's very good because he's blocked off the left-hand side for Ding, and this is awkward. Again, just drop on the red, I think, behind the black spot. These lads are very good at these. The angle and the pace. And there's another one. Well, just shows you the pace of these tables. That didn't look anywhere near getting to that red, but it just kept going. But he has left one to the right middle here, and Kyren can drop this in, and he'll be on the black. Well played. Looks fairly straight, this black, though. Don't know if he's got any angle to sort of, well, especially if he can just punch up the table to cannon into that left-hand red. Be on the other one. Worth another look. Yes, I mean, they don't turn a lot on these cloths, but that just came in enough. This is not straightforward. He's going to have to work these, but the 64 he put together in the last frame was superb. So,
8.
From his point of view, same again, please. Well, he's took his eye off that one.
Wheels 8.
That could be very costly. That's the danger when you're playing those sort of shots. You're concentrating that much on the cannon, you forget the pot. Spot for choice here.
Eight. Nine.
Well, there's a red still there to the left corner. The top one of the three could just screw over for that one. It was a bad miss by Kyren there, Phil, wasn't it, to the middle? And it wasn't that a difficult pot, really.
Yes, frames lost from an error
16.
are always that much harder to swallow. And Ding will be mindful that if he can do the business here, that will be a blow for Wilson.
Yeah, lovely cannon there, just opening up those other two reds. He's got two more to go at.
Point two. Point three.
Might just, well, if he's got the angle, could punch into the three reds there. He's got the other one as well. He opened up the two reds a few minutes ago. Still only a 15-point lead, a bit to do.
Third.
Slow down. Oh, he's had a result there. Well, it's a round of applause, but he's played that poorly. He's got away with it. Hasn't played that one too well either. Wanted to be straighter on this red. He's making a bit of a meal of this, especially over the last 2 or 3 shots.
Nine.
Perfect now. You can just run into the 3 reds here. Already with a 31-point lead in this third frame. Don't tell me he's gone behind the pink. I think he has.
46.
Well, I just wondered, well, you might be able to see enough of that actually.
It's obviously pretty tight. You can see some of the red. The question is whether he can get to the potting angle. And with that handy lead, he doesn't want to leave Wilson with the opportunity to hit back.
Well, he thinks, oh, does he? Can he see it? And if he kicks it in with left-hand side, that's dangerous. Don't think he fancies it. I think he's going to play a safety. Well, that will annoy him because that was a chance to put this frame to bed, really. He'll have to wait for another chance.
Junhui 46.
Well, 46, a good visit, but it could have been more.
Not quite able to punish the error from Wilson, missing the red to left centre with a frame-winning break. Has to make do with a 38-point advantage. Kyren Wilson disturbed by a fly there. At least he didn't have a mobile phone.
No, he had a go. Might cost him.
One.
I've got an idea, Phil. Like speeding tickets, on the spot fines.
Well, my view would be one warning and then ejection. Of course, that's not as easy as it sounds, because it's a question of identifying the culprit, but they're warned on so many occasions.
Yeah, and it's trying to give people the responsibility, isn't it? Has he missed that? He has. Yeah, you're trying to give the people the responsibility of
Junhui, 1.
not using them while the matches are on, but it still happens. I mean, amazingly, how much it happened at Sheffield this last year. It's incredible. Well, you can see this one through the gap to the yellow pocket. A chance to get back into this third frame then. So no, it looked wide. It's come away from the pocket, but there's still one on here.
Caught that way too thick. And that could be expensive, although he's had a little bit of luck with the easy red being hampered by the blue.
Well, he's going to need something here to get over the blue, but he's not taking it. Well, this is missable.
Tough pot.
I think this one passes the blue, but Ding might play the one near the pocket. It's easier to get onto a colour. It does go, but I think he'll play this left on one. Swing the cue ball around, possibly for the blue. Yeah, he's okay. He's nowhere near the red. Amazing. Shades of 85 there, Phil. Steve Davis and Dennis Taylor in that epic final. 18.5 million people were watching that in the UK. Oh, that's incredible.
Well after midnight as well. Well, this is comfortably the scrappiest frame so far. Both players have had chances. Ding still has that handy lead, but there are plenty there for Wilson to hit back if he can get in.
Well, those figures, Phil. I just wonder how many people are watching this final around China.
Well, a lot more than 18.5 million for sure.
I think so. Well played. Oh, double kissing off. Ooh.
1.请马上坐下。
Missed it by a long way. I think Wilson's getting a bit frustrated by the number of distractions. You saw him shake his head there. The vision than the mobile phone going off. It's been happening a lot this week.
Just lost the white there a little, but he still has the pot on the yellow here. Well, that's interesting.
1
Extra insurance.
Kyren Wilson 39 points behind, still 67 there, but it's a rather scrappy looking table.
That's pretty good. It was interesting with that shot on the yellow from Ding. He could have played the pot, but chose to put it safe. And just give himself that extra insurance. And it's not he that has to take the risks, of course, to get back into this frame. If you don't have to take risks, don't do it. Clever. Possible cross double into the right centre.
It's one of those leads, Mike, which is bigger than its numerical advantage because the table is so awkward.
Yeah, it is, but he's got a good angle on the blue here to stun into the two reds. And it doesn't take much, does it, for the whole thing to turn around, but especially getting in like that as well. Now, into these two reds, hopefully. Oh, that's unlucky to see. Mind you, what I was going to say, if that goes absolutely tight to the cushion, he could have come back for the black to the middle. It's been a little bit unlucky to see the white finish there. He's got a slight angle on this red, but I'll say if it had been dead straight down to the cushion, that would have been perfect. Well, he's got to hit this clean, doesn't want to push it. That's the problem. He's just got a slight angle on it, and I think the black might go to the green pocket, but he doesn't like it. And the one across the table, well, this is even tougher. Well played. Trying to get back for the black. Keep going. Tell you what, he's not done bad there, really, considering where he was. But he needs another one. This might just be a case of trying to take the 7 points and then play a safety. or take colours off cushions. Well, that's not very clever.
Kyren Wilson, 7.
Well, missed an opportunity there to open things up.
One.
.33 the difference, 43 on. That's a nice confirmation. Just put the green next to the yellow and pink.
Junhui, 1.
Good match snooker this from Junhui. Well, it was difficult, but just caught the red too thick. So just a red and a colour needed from Junhui here. Not sure if you can avoid the second red. Well, he's clipped off it anyway, and that's perfect. Well, I'm afraid this. I think this frame is over. It's going to be 2-1 to Junhui.
Largely scrappy, but as Mike mentioned, good tactical stuff from Ding, tying things up, making it nigh on impossible for Wilson to get in to clear. And now he's taken advantage.
Yeah, sorry, Phil. He's played a very clever frame here, hasn't he?
Seven. Junhui, 12, and a frame.
Kyren Wilson concedes. So Junhui back in front in the World Open final. A long way still to go. The first to 10 to be crowned champion. But it's Junhui who edges back into the lead at 2 frames to 1. Kyren Wilson back from a bathroom break and looking to level this match once again.
Kyren Wilson, break.
Wilson, of course, knows how to win big. Claimed his first ranking title in Shanghai a couple of years ago and was relieved of that title by Junhui. But it was a terrific performance from Wilson. Got the better of Judd Trump in the title match by the odd frame. Now back in the top 16. Junhui going for his 13th ranking crown today. And his first World Open title.
Well, he had to play that way to try and get back for the blue. Otherwise he would have been running into the pack, but he's left everything on. Well, the poor safety from Ding Junhui might prove in his favour.
It's amazing how often that happens, isn't it?
Hmm. Chance to take a 3-1 lead into their first interval. 9 frames to be played in this opening session.
4.
Well, that's the second blue off its spot that he's missed today. Surprising.
4.
Yeah, he did that earlier in the week as well. He missed a couple earlier in the week. Concentrating that much on the path of the cue ball. Well, Kyren, a few seconds ago, was just checking that this black is actually on the spot. I mean, it doesn't matter, it'll go onto the blue, I think. Not sure the pink's available. But of course, if it's replaced, then the red will go. I think, yes, it was actually on its spot. Could have done with the white a little bit higher than that. Well, they didn't have to do that. I mean, but you can't legislate for that, really. I mean, I can see what he's trying to do, open up the red and still have the blue. But that's amazing to see the white go in there. I mean, he hasn't left anything easy on for Ding Junhui here. This one near the pink spot's available, though. Well, hang on, though. Hang on. I think he's got the blue through the gap.
The pace of this table is lightning, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's picked up since yesterday, hasn't it? And the fitters have been on the case to get the pace up.
That looked like a pretty lively bounce, actually, off the left side cushion. He wasn't going to be missing that blue.
Don't land on top of the red, though. Yeah, I mean, Kyren's so unlucky there, Phil. I mean, you can see what he was trying to do, just open things up a little bit, and the blue, sorry, the blue in the middle pocket was guaranteed.
Yeah, it was a clever shot, wasn't it? And he was, as you say, unfortunate. Couldn't legislate for the in-off.
7.
Well, both having a bit of trouble with the pace of this table, overhitting it slightly, especially onto the blue. Nice recovery. Well, I would expect this to be 3-1 from this position.
闪光灯关掉，手机放下。12。 13.
Well, could have done with the cue ball a little bit further away from the cushion. You can see the disappointment there because he knows now he's left himself a more difficult pot here than it should have been, and he's got to drive the cue ball through reds. He's managed that though beautifully. Well done. It could be 3-1.
That looks suspiciously like a frame winner from Ding. Already 21 in front.
Yep, make that 28 and counting.
28. 29. $36. $37.
Well, we know about Ding's break building, Phil. He's immaculate, isn't he, that department? But also his shot choice is very much matured over the last 2 or 3 seasons. You know, he very rarely plays the wrong shot. He knows when to go in and knows when to come out.
He is the complete player these days.
Mm.
And he's still only 30.
Amazing. He's been around for a long time, isn't he? And he's going to stay around for a long time. As we mentioned today, if he wins today, the extra 75,000 points will put him up to number 2. He'll go above John Higgins. But if Kyren wins, he goes up to number 9. But at the moment, it's Ding Junhui that's looking the stronger of the two. I mean, it was so unlucky for Kyren to go in off there. It was still a good pot to get in, though.
60.
This frame safely in the bag now.
61.
And it was that excellent positional shot driving through the reds as Kyren Wilson bemoans his luck. That was the key shot of this frame. So it's going to be advantage Ding Junhui of the first interval.
Yeah, and to be honest, he's starting to play. He wants to stay out there now. He doesn't want to go to that interval. He's missed that with its frame over.
67 from Ding Junhui, his highest break of the match so far, and he'll be very satisfied with the work he's put in that first mini session of this World Open final. They're off for a 15-minute break, and it's Ding who'll be the happier. He leads Kyren Wilson, who's a little out of luck at the moment, by 3 frames to 1. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back. We're nearly ready to resume the first session of our final here at the World Open. Advantage Ding Junhui, a 3-1 lead over Kyren Wilson. Break of 67 from Ding in the 4th frame to eclipse Wilson's 64 in the 2nd. But a long way to go. First to 10, of course, to pick up the trophy and that cheque for £150,000 and the equivalent number of ranking points. As Mike mentioned earlier, if Ding wins, he'll move back above John Higgins into 2nd place. He has been at the world #1 spot, Ding, just for a week actually. He was the 11th world #1. And Kyren Wilson now back in the 16 after his efforts this week, and he'll be in to the top 10 if he wins today. So plenty of incentive for these players in all sorts of different ways. And of course, we've got more live snooker coming up for you on Eurosport in just a week's time. The European Masters live from Lommel in Belgium, where of course Luca Brissell will be playing his home event. We're looking forward to that one, and full coverage of that tournament throughout the week.
Well, October's busy, isn't it, for these boys? You know, they've got the European Masters, Belgium, and then the start of the Home Nations kicks off in Barnsley, the English Open, and then at the end of the month it's the International, back to China. So it's full on in October.
It is, and there's plenty more to follow after that, of course. The Irish Open, the second leg of the home nations to come in Belfast, UK Championship, and then the Scottish Open in Glasgow. So an awful lot of snooker to cram in before Christmas. And the applause is for the return of the players. So Kyren Wilson with a bit of work to do here to get right back into this final. Junhui looking to build a commanding lead to take into that decisive session later.
Yes, he could do that, especially with 5 more frames to come.
So Ding breaking off in frame number 5.
And it's a good one. Just look at the pace. Oh, can this man get himself back into this match? No, a couple of frames behind. Short of pace there. Don't know whether Ding might be tempted with this right hand red. He might be, actually, because you can play this in such a way and land on the blue, you won't really be leaving anything on. So he could have a go at that left hand red. Choosing not to. And so far, he's played some really hard match snooker.
Rueful smile there from Wilson. He might have been left this red to right centre, but it's not on. Perhaps feels as though he hasn't quite had the rub of the green as yet.
Well, that's the time when you just really have to stick in, keep chipping away. It's always better to have the rub at the end of the match rather than at the beginning. That's when it really matters. But there is a danger here with 5 frames to be played, including this one, that Ding could take a commanding lead into the evening session. That's a difference today. A few months ago, you might have taken that red on down the right-hand side. Now, had he caught the pink? Just, that was going to go back.
Kyren Wilson, 6.
But he chose to try and keep things tight and wait for a concrete opening. This might take a few minutes just to get everything back in place. They've got the technology. Well, they did have. Looks like a roulette table.
Yes, when the balls flash, that means they're in their correct positions. So the pink needs to move very slightly to the right as you look. It's not going to make a huge difference to this shot from Ding. He just needs to adjust slightly off the cushion, rest into them. Right a bit, up a bit, down a bit.
I don't know why it has to take so long. I mean, you know, this is just fractions. I mean, this, you know, it just takes too long. I know they're trying to get it right, but you can do it a little bit quicker than this.
Yeah, we had a similar incident yesterday, didn't we, in the Kyren Wilson Mark Allen semi-final. It took forever to get them back in the right place.
Yeah, some of the referees, they're just a little bit, can get a little bit fussy, too fussy.
Take two then.
Just a touch more side here to miss the pink.
There are some instances where getting the balls exactly where they were is more crucial than others. In that instance, it wasn't vital that they were precisely where they were before, but there are occasions where it does matter a great deal. It can be the difference between winning and losing a frame. So
yeah, especially if you're just trying to come off a red with a very fine edge. Well, again, looking to probably put the cue ball into this top cushion, just checking where the reds were. Don't go off. Oof. It's not bad now. Tempter here to the right middle, but it's no gimme. Looks good. Well played. Bang in the middle. I mean, the one that Ding took onto the middle, that wasn't easy. But that was a good pot. We'll take the green here. Be nice if you can get on the red that's nearest the black. That would open things up at this end of the table. Well, I didn't think he'd miss that. Well, I don't know if he's looking to see if he got a bad contact. Did it kick?
Six. 7.
Well, there is one there, but could have landed better. Because he hit them with some power. Still pot one here. It's all about the cue ball. I don't think the black goes, so he's going to have to either push the others out of the way for the pink or try and get back for the blue. Well, he tried to hold for the pink, but unfortunately he's pushed the red in the way. But of course, let's not forget that the green is over the corner, but can he see enough of it?
I think he can just get to the potting angle.
Half ball would be enough. It's hanging. Yeah, it is okay. Needs a nice little cannon here. A favourable one. That's not favourable. It's not too bad actually, because with an extension on the cue he can get over for the black here.
One good positional shot. And Ding is going to be a firm favourite to make it 4-1. But this red's tricky.
I think he's expecting a little nudge on that other red there. It's just run on a little and he's slightly hampered over this red. I think it's got to be said, Phil, that that's probably the only little bit of insurance that Kyren might have in this frame. Because if this goes in, it could be 4-1. But it still needs potting. doesn't like it. He's just backed away, reset himself. Well, I'm not sure if he's got anything to this left corner. Just wonder if the one there, the pink will go. No, there's nothing there. He'll have to find another red. Just going to drop this in and try and hold for the black. But again, you know, this is not guaranteed. But if it goes in, which it has done, back in good position.
Very delicately played. Still not straightforward, hampered again.
Well, at least not much to do with the cue ball, which helped.
$32. $33.
Beginning to get serious for Kyren Wilson again. Missed the cut-back green into its own pocket, and that green came to Ding's rescue in this break.
41. $48.
Yes, there was just signs in that fourth frame before they went to the interval that Ding Junhui was bringing his best form to the table. I mean, Kyren Wilson was so unlucky when he hit the pack and went in off. That's a big bounce. Not seeing too many this week. But this guy's beginning to find his rhythm. And he knows coming out, Phil, obviously after the interval, that he can do some damage here.
If he wins this frame, he'll only need one more to guarantee himself some sort of lead going into the final session.
Not bad. Perfect angle to stun down with this red. And they're starting to go into the middle of the pockets as well. Nothing going off the edges. That's a good sign. Seeing them well. 55-point lead, so a couple of reds with colours. It's 4-1.
62.
I wouldn't say that the alarm bells are ringing yet for Kyren Wilson, but the next couple of frames are going to be interesting. Well, this black then is frame ball. And there's no way I'll miss this.
It's not been a straightforward break, this, has it?
No.
But he's worked them well.
Well, it's just been professional and businesslike, hasn't it? Just to really make sure that Kyren won't be coming back for snookers. Not now.
7-1.
Highest break of the match so far.
Well, could it be the first century of this final?
77.
Not going to plan at the moment for the Warrior. have one or two bits of ill fortune.
78.
.458 career
85.
centuries. Ding Junhui. In a short space of time, really, since he turned professional.
86.
Prolific break builder. That needs to slow down a little, though.
93.
Just when I sort of said all that, he's played a poor one for the century.
93 and the frame.
No century, but a clinical break of 93 from Ding Junhui after Kyren Wilson had missed the green. And Ding extends his lead to a commanding 4 frames to 1. Grip on this opening session here in Yushan. Kyren Wilson with work to do now. This frame is badly needed by the Warrior. 4-1 down. Another 4 to come before the conclusion tonight.
Well, I think the next couple are massive, really, Phil. You know, I think the way things are going, if Kyren could probably come out of this 6-3, I think that's a bit of a result. Ding looking to punish every mistake, and he's playing some really hard match snooker here. But 93 was businesslike. Went for a cheeky double there. Just wonder whether this red might go through the gap to the right middle. Well, it won't go. Kyren here looking to put the white onto the top cushion.
It's been that kind of day so far for Kyren Wilson. He'll be relieved because it looked for a moment there as though that red was going to land in a potable position. It hasn't. But there have been 1 or 2 instances like that today.
Well, it's dangerous if he takes the cue ball down to the end of the table. He might just run into the reds here, dead weight. But if he ever hits it, he could leave something on. Again, elevating the cue, looking to try and get the cue ball back to the top cushion. Nearly. Well, he's covered the red over the middle, but look at that. How would you fancy that one? That's high risk.
Particularly when you're 4-1 down.
Well, I think he might be forced into this because it's not easy to get a safety. He's going to have a go at this, and he can leave everything on. Now, if he gets this, he deserves all he gets, because this is tough. Played one off the other. Well done. That will do nicely. Well played.
Well played indeed. He had to get that red now. Can he capitalise to the full and reduce his arrears?
Well, that red was certainly courageous, but I don't think he had much choice, to be honest.
Seven. Eight.
Got to make the most of this, get some table time. Just got to start putting frames on the board. Sounds easy.
Thirteen. 14. 19. 20. 25. 26. 29. 30.
Well, that's a little careless. He's gone the wrong side of the blue. He wanted to try and get on the red at this end of the table. Done well there. Well played.
35.
Nice control of the cue ball. Back in prime position. Nice tune on the mobile phone.
36.
'Slow down. Well, it's flown off the cushion.
43.
There have been one or two today on that lower left-hand rail that have sprung a little, and that has scuppered Kyren Wilson. And you can see what he thinks about it.
Still has the chance of this red in the left middle and coming around the back of the black, but it's not guaranteed. No.
Kyren
It
Wilson,
was just
46.
pointing to that cushion. Didn't like the bounce off it.
One.
And Ding's got the perfect angle to go into these reds here. And hopefully he'll push one towards corner pocket. He can get himself back into this frame. That could have been better, but I think this red that he's closest to will go into the left corner. Just caught the first red too full. Well, this red will pot, but it's about controlling the cue ball here. All he can do is pot the red and let the sort of the rest happen. He's got the red, and where's the white going to finish? Perfect. Well done. Lost the white. He was looking for a full ball contact on the pink there. I wonder if he might still take this red onto the yellow pocket. He didn't have to play that. He took a calculated risk. It hasn't paid off. But can he knock this in? No.
Junhui.
Well, that will annoy him. The shot that he's played on the blue, he will not be happy with. Too thin. What has he done here? And Ding can get rid of this awkward red early. Well, you can't believe what's happening out there at the moment.
One. Four. Five.
Well, if Ding Junhui can steal this frame here, it might just knock a little bit of stuffing out of Kyren Wilson.
17.
Well, if Ding completes the job here, it's beginning to look really serious for Kyren Wilson, who got the springy bounce earlier in the frame and then missing the cut red into the yellow pocket to compound his misery.
Yeah, I didn't fancy him to miss that one to the yellow pocket, Phil. Just over, you know, he's just too thin. I know he was cannon into the second red, but you've got to concentrate on the pot and let the rest happen.
25.
But this could get serious now. 5-1 with 3 more frames to come.
And the comfort for Ding, if he does it, that
26.
he's guaranteed to be ahead by some score come the end of this session, but he'll be looking to build a really commanding lead. Still work to do then. This red isn't a gimme by any means. But it's there. Well, what an opportunity now for Ding Junhui to win his 4th straight frame.
$38. 40.
Trying to avoid any calamity as regards a kick. Kyren Wilson with another little shake of the head. It's just not going his way so far today.
观众保持安静，手机放下。43.
Needs just the brown and the blue.
$47.
A 3rd hard century of the match for Ding Junhui. But much more importantly, another frame.
58.
And now a commanding 4-frame advantage. With 3 more to come in this session, Kyren Wilson needs at least 2 of them. Otherwise, he's going to be in a whole lot of trouble going into the concluding session later on today. Ding in charge here in Yushan, leading 5-1. Jae Yixin resetting the balls, and Kyren Wilson needs a reset of his own right now. It's not gone to plan thus far, just the 1 frame for him, the 2nd, which he won with a good break of 64, but since then he's been unable to score as heavily as he needs to apply pressure to this man, Ding, who has scored pretty well himself, 93, and a couple of other breaks in excess of 50. To put himself 4 clear now. That's a commanding advantage. The worst he can be is 5-4 down at the end of this session, but of course he has designs on what could be a decisive lead. Frame 7 then. Well, it was a very tough pot. Wilson trying to make something happen, but it just isn't at the moment. He's missed a couple of blues off their spots today, and a good deal easier than the one he just potted as well. But he must be feeling really confident now, Ding, the chance to build on the sizable lead he's already got. That was a good pot, never easy when the butt of the cue has to be raised.
Certainly was. He actually put the red in the side of the pocket, but a nice little cannon here. Turn the red over. Ooh, whew. I thought he missed that black for a minute. These top players as well, Phil, as we know, they're very, very good at picking the important moments out there, either through frames or through sessions, you know. And this is an important moment now because you might just see Ding go into overdrive here. And really put the pressure on. He knows at 5-1 he can do some real damage. Put himself in a great position for the evening session. He goes to number 2 in the world if he wins today. He'll go above John Higgins. And everybody's still miles behind Mark Selby, but well, that's not clever because he's played on the red to the yellow pocket, but he might have snookered himself if this spots.
And it does, comfortably. Well, that's a reprieve for Wilson.
Salty.
Well, it wasn't a real problem, but Ding Junhui will be angry that he's not still at the table potting balls. Well, he's got them open, but he needed the white to go through the baulk colours. He's left this red on. It just depends whether it's straight or not. I think there's some angle there. Only just.
Well, again, Wilson up off the shot. I suspect there was movement, and you feel as though his concentration just hasn't been there in this session today. As hard as it is to do, he needs to try and put these frustrations to the back of his mind. That's a bonus, the plant, to get him in. Has he got position to go with it? Far from ideal. Yeah. I think he feels as though the world is against him right now, the warrior. This session is still retrievable. Realistically, he's got to win 2 of the remaining 3 frames of this first session. Anything less than that, and you'd think he'll have too much to do later. And blue is potable to the green pocket, but it's difficult in the extreme. Just the safety, I think. Well, not the best. He's pretty deadly from that distance when he's playing well.
1.
Just see the white there, just moves a little bit to the right. I think it must have gone over a finger mark. It's super fast, Phil, isn't it? You've got to take care when you're playing the positional shots.
It's like an ice rink.
Black's tied up, doesn't want the pink to go the other end of the table, so just concentrate on the blue for the time being. If he gets on the bottom red, he might be able to free up the black. He's gone for the other one. But, you know, we're into the first session, it's the 7th frame, but Junhui beginning to take control of this final.
Okay. Eighteen.
Played that well. Well, this might go on to the green spot. Well, looks like it goes on. Plenty of room.
$25. $26.
Perfectly played positionally. And just this red required to leave Kyren Wilson at the snooker's required stage once again.
Yes, it's not looking good really for Kyren Wilson. I'm not saying he's lost interest, but these boys certainly haven't what Ding Junhui's doing. But it's sometimes difficult from there. You know, it's just trying to get in and make something if you can. But you know, your opponent sort of playing well. He's probably going to win the frames in one visit if he gets in. It's not easy. Oh, hang on.
Well, again, there was movement there before Ding played the shot. You saw the referee gesturing for someone to sit down.
Yeah, and the problem, well, there's 61 in it, 59 at the table. But it's only one snooker.
Kyren Wilson's got to dig deep here and really summon the blood. If he could turn this frame around, it would be a huge bonus. If he doesn't, he's got to win the remaining 2 of the session.
Well, if he does that would be a massive bonus for him.
One snooker required.
Yeah, because at the moment this man is bang under it. Ding Junhui in full control here.
Seven. Eight.
Does he have the angle here just to push the red away from the black?
14.
And then he'll probably leave the final red on and lay the snooker from that one. There's a bit to do, but it's not beyond him, Phil.
No, but he's going to need 2 snookers to win this frame as things stand. 1 to tie. Wow. Kind of sums up his day.
Yeah, he was trying to force the angle there. And all Ding has to do is just drop this red to the centre. And it's 6-1. It's not far away. Oh, just caught the near knuckle. So Kyren still has a chance here then. A little bit of light at the end of the tunnel.
Wilson still needing a snooker in order to tie. That's assuming he gets blacks with the remaining 2 reds.
Well, he didn't play that very well. He was, hang on, don't go in there. He was trying to get the white in behind the blue. Ding could possibly play the cross double here. Just wonder whether it'll squeeze past the brown. Ooh, not sure. Don't think that goes.
Try to play one off the other.
Well, he's put the red safe. Well, that's just purely lack of table time, and Ding Junhui has another chance to drop this red to the right middle. Well, he's not enjoying this, that is for sure. Even less if that goes in, but it looks wide. Well, I don't know whether that was me, Phil. That seemed to pull out a little bit.
I think he overcompensated from the previous attempt, which caught the near jaw.
Yeah, possibly. It's but you know, these fine cloths, they do tend to keep the line, don't they? Don't move a lot, In the old days, you know, we had to play at the back of the pocket. Don't you dare say black and white as well. Oh, brilliant. Keep coming though, keep coming. No, he's on the black. It's just one to tie. Now this would be interesting. He can get onto the red here, then get onto the black again, and then lay the snookers on the colours. Not quite sure what that was, unless he wanted to get the white a little bit further down, try and tuck him behind the blue, but it's difficult to do it from there. He'd be leaving that red near the corner pocket. I think he's going to have to find something else now. Yeah, I think his idea was, if that white to travel another 6 inches, was to play the red off the knuckle, drop him behind the blue. But he's not in the right position now. 39 the lead, 35 on. Well, again, that's not clever because he's pushed the blue into a worse position.
I think Ding can clip this red into right centre.
And it would be 6-1. He's got it. Well, Kyren Wilson all at sea at the moment. 2 frames to go in this first session. Those are going to be massive.
It's a surprising scoreline. I think we were expecting a tight final today. Yes, Ding the favourite, but at the moment it's threatening to be a runaway. Kyren Wilson concedes. Things going from bad to worse for the Warrior. Ding Junhui serenely moves 5 clear now at 6-1 with 2 more frames to come in this session. Kyren Wilson in all sorts of trouble. Ding Junhui now in this World Open final here. Live from Yushan. Needs just 4 more frames to win the title. There are 2 more in this session, and Kyren Wilson, well, it goes without saying, he's got to win both to have any chance, you would think, of turning this around. But you just feel, Mike, as though Wilson's concentration has never been quite there today. There have been 1 or 2 distractions again in the crowd, and there's been a lot of head shaking, but he's never really got to grips with this final.
No, he's not nailed it, has he? And the thing is, and it's 6-1, and again, it's easier to say than do, but from his point of view, he's just got to erase what's gone on these 7 frames and just concentrate on these last 2 frames like they're the first 2. And again, if he comes out of this 6-3, that is not bad. Ding would need 4, but if this goes to 8 or even 7, you know, that could be trouble for this evening. So if he can just, well, get this one first and then the last one, but of course Ding Junhui, he'll be looking to push on.
Kyren Wilson going for an extended bathroom break, no doubt to give himself a bit of a talking to regroup. So it's Kyren Wilson preparing to break off in a frame he so desperately needs to stop the rod. He's lost 5 on the bounce now.
Yeah, and he must get this one because then he has a chance of getting the last one as well. Just get these 2 frames and he'll be thinking, I'm going to have a go tonight. Good break-off shot. Perfect. This man here, though, he's on a roll and he wants these 2 as well.
Yes, it's not as though Ding has blown Wilson away, but he's been a lot more solid. 3 breaks of more than 50, including the match high of 93. Just one 50-plus break from Kyren Wilson, which won in the second frame, his only success thus far.
It's not enough, is it? Junhui, on the other hand, if he can get these two as well, he knows he's on the brink of another title on home soil. Notwithstanding that he's going to bank another £150,000. And go to number 2 in the world. I'll tell you what, it's going to get interesting during the season if that happens, Phil, because Mark Selby, I know he's way out in front there, but Ding chasing Mark, and Mark's looking a bit rusty at the moment, having to take the first few weeks out of the season. You know, he missed 2 or 3 tournaments, so I'm thinking sort of November, December, beyond.
What, 2020?
Okay then, all right.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be losing any sleep at the moment, but
No.
he's going to have a lot of points to defend, of course, in the coming seasons. Points drop off after 2 seasons. But you've got to think it's only a matter of time before Selby finds his A game, which Kyren Wilson is certainly struggling to locate at the moment. Yeah, I think he's just never really had the focus required today.
He's been lucky though as well not to leave Ding the red to the right corner pocket. He'd still take this one on to the left, but it's tougher. Well, this is not guaranteed near the cushion. Well, Kyren got away with that one. It's one of those where he played a poor shot and might have got the benefit, especially if you can get this red near the black. Well, this is where you have to steel yourself. You really do. It's a tough discipline, Phil, isn't it? This game of snooker, it really is. It can get to you, but it's all about the discipline.
Well, so much of this game is played between the ears, and when you're this far behind against a player of Ding's calibre, it's trying to maintain the belief that you can turn things around. But
6.
if there's one area where Kyren Wilson is very strong, it is mentally. He will keep battling. He's not known as the warrior for nothing.
7.
And if he can somehow win this frame and the last of the session, then given the way things have gone for him today, 6-3 wouldn't be a bad result. Would certainly give him a chance. When you're playing a match over 2 sessions, it's like 2 different matches, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it could have been and should have been out yesterday against Mark Allen when Mark missed that blue off the spot, nudging the final red off the cushion. So, you know, it's back to another 40-odd thousand pounds. So just try and stick in there and then see what happens in the final session. That's all you can do. At the moment, Ding Junhui in the driving seat.
Pink doesn't spot, so in a direct line behind the pack. Was close to that red without touching it. Wilson eager to get on with it. It's fair to say that he's fuming at the moment. Feels as though the luck hasn't been with him. A couple of dodgy bounces, perhaps.
Well, just channel that into the table. A couple of big breaks out of there at 6-3. Go and rest up at the hotel and think about the evening session. The thing is, you know, 6-3, Wins the first session tonight at 3-1. Still only one behind.
22.
Can't sort of think that far ahead though at this moment. He's got to stay in the moment and try and win these 2 frames.
Now. 30.
Nicely done. Freed up the pink and reds.
$36.
Well, it was the second frame of this session that Kyren had anything like a break, 64 to level at 1 apiece. Might play the straight red to the yellow pocket. It's got an alternative here though. I think he'll come back off the reds. He won't go forward because it's going away from the black slightly. He's looking at the straight red to the corner now.
And when you've been struggling the way Wilson has been, these aren't straightforward. But in it goes.
Yeah. Well, he's got half the job done in this frame. He's got to complete the job. And then that final frame to come. Oh, this is pretty good, Phil. This is better than at least the head hasn't gone down.
Well, he is tenacious, as we've said. He's a battler. He will give it everything he's got. He'll still believe that he can turn this around. He's got a lot of self-belief, Kyren Wilson.
They've done just clipping the red away from the pink, give himself another high value of colour. Well, they're all there. Break goes to 53, 59 with the pink. Well, this is more like it. Just got to let Ding know that he's still around.
59. $60.
Junhui just missed out on the century early on in the session. Could this be the first century of the final? This red is frame ball.
Possible 142, as you can see there, but that wouldn't eclipse the highest break, which was 143 by Li Hang, his best of his career.
Yeah, you get £3,000 for that as well if it stands today. I think it probably will.
$68.
The crowd have done their calculations, and that's a nice round of applause there, really, considering you don't want to see a player struggling in the chair, Phil, do you? You want to see a nice foul and both competing well.
The crowds have been scrupulously fair all week, always ready to applaud a player's skill, regardless of whether they're homegrown
75.
or not. And I'm sure they want their value for money, don't they? They want a close final. Yes, ideally a Ding win.
76.
But how about a nail biter? 10-9 on the final black.
I was going to say the other way, not that close then.
Well, you never know. Stranger things have happened. It could still become very close.
Yep.
But Kyren Wilson has to start somewhere in his bid for a comeback, and this is a pretty good way to do it. He has been scoring very heavily this week with 6 centuries. When you consider he made just 16 in the whole of last season, that's impressive. It's an area of his game where I'm sure as the seasons go by he will improve greatly.
91.
Getting the big breaks when he gets the opportunity to move up to that next level. He's already established himself as a ranking event winner.
Well, he's had a great week because before he came into this week, he lost a lot of points, didn't he? What he'd done previously, so he's picked those
97.
up back in the 16. Well, it's looking out the first century then of this final. But this has been immaculate.
Well played, Kyren Wilson. He needed to find something from somewhere.
One jump.
And this is just the tonic for him.
Kyren Wilson, 1 jump 4 and a fight.
Excellent break of 104 to finally, belatedly, stop the rot. He still has much to do to get back into this final, but he's closed the gap to 6 frames to 2. Kyren Wilson has halted the Junhui charge in fine fashion. A break of 104 to finally get his 2nd frame on the board, but Ding still in a very strong position, leading as he is by 6 frames to 2. This one is vitally important. The difference between 7-2, which you would think would be a bridge too far for Wilson on the resumption later, or 6-3, which would look rather better for the Warrior.
Well, he could slide off this red on the right hand side, but of course he's got to make sure that he covers that red over the left corner. He should play that one really, just thin and put the white to the top cushion. That's the one he should play off, for me. What's he thinking here? Down the table towards a green pocket. Looking to cover that red on the diagonal. No, I don't think he has done. I think Ding can get through to this, you know. Now, has the green come to his rescue? Might have done. Well, there was that one, but that's tough. Wow. What can you say? A lot of courage there.
buoyed by the century in the previous frame. He's got the bit between his teeth now. Better late than never.
Yep, well, keep saying it. 6-3, not too bad.
Oh, that's a massive kick. That is a massive kick.
Well, that's the worst one we've seen this week. And there's no real damage done.
You saw the cue ball leap off the bed of the table there. Wilson counting to 10 slowly.
6.
Can still drop this red in for the black.
Seven.
All he could have done with being straight on this black. He's just going to clip this red on the way through. Play a little soft cannon here to stay on the other one. Well, that's no good. Didn't push it out of the way. He's going to have to find something else.
14.
Possibly to the corner pocket for the black. He won't be best pleased with that, because although he did get the kick on the blue, he was still in good position. But he was slightly the wrong angle on the black. I think he's taken this to the middle. Oh, this could be missed. Well done.
15.
Nice nudge on the blue. Well, if you could just capture this one, Phil, he'd be back at the hotel a happier man, thinking, well, still got half a chance here. Not so about 40 minutes ago.
Absolutely. It's a pivotal frame for him. It's been a largely frustrating session for Wilson, but
21.
if he can end it on a high, he'll return to his dressing room with a spring in his step, believing that with a bit of the rub of the green this evening, he can get right back into this.
Yeah, and if it does go 6-3, I'm going to be really interested to see how the early frames of the evening session sort of pan out.
28.
Ding might come out all guns blazing. This guy might as well. So it's going to be fascinating. At one stage it was looking one-sided, but still a bit to do in this one yet, though.
.29.
Well, when he went for that comfort break, both went out actually, but I'm sure either with somebody in Kyren's corner or something or whatever, but he'll be thinking to himself, well, okay, all right, you know, it's 6-1, but forget that. Let's worry about these two. And he's come out with a good attitude.
35. .36.
Well, it doesn't matter what happens in life, Phil, but everybody loves a
43.
trier. No, he's left himself on the pink here,
44.
I think, to purposely split these reds.
Junhui wondering if he's going to sit out the last 2 frames of the session. If you'd offered him 6-3 at the outset, I'm sure he'd have taken it.
Absolutely. 7-2 though would be the icing on the cake. And although Kyren's got a good lead in this one, this is not ideal. Well played.
51.
Doesn't have to go into the pack here. He can go down for the loose red near the yellow. And at this stage, with the pressure on a little bit, just keep it as simple as possible. Gone for the bunch. Oh, well played. Just gone away from them slightly. Again, not in ideal position. He needs another one here.
Yeah, and there'll be pressure on this because if he misses the pot this time, an opportunity for Ding to get right back in the frame.
That's why I was surprised a little bit that he went to open those up, Phil. I thought he would have gone for the loose one and then come back for them.
Big shot. And right in the heart of the
59.
pocket.
Well, he's played his best snooker, obviously, over this last 20 minutes or so. He made a century in the last frame, 104. This is superb. This really is superb. He's been under the cosh all session, but he has produced over the last 20 minutes or so. That's a good sign for this evening, actually.
He'd probably quite like to stay out there now. Funny how quickly things can
65.
change. Could we be looking at back-to-back
60.
centuries?
Well, that's sport for you, isn't it? And especially at this game, you never know what's going to happen.
Well, this is frame ball.
Oh,
my goodness.
no, no.
Wow.
I'll tell you what, he's been fortunate there because he's just pushed that red into the path of the other one. But how did he miss that?
Well, he only had to drop it in. Elected to punch it in, but goodness me, if he'd left a red there, that might have been the beginning of the end for Kyren Wilson in this final. As it is, 66 in front, firm favourite for this frame.
Yeah, that's clever from Ding. He just negotiated the bulk colours there with the red and he's covered the one down the table, but of course Ding needs all blacks with the reds to steal this one by 1 point. But that would be a massive blow. Not if this goes in. Playing the safety. Don't blame him for that.
Kyren Wilson on the cusp of winning his second straight frame to close this session. This is frame ball.
Well, I was about to say actually the next few minutes, Phil, that whatever happens, it's not been a bad session. Looking forward to some fireworks later. But Ding has half a chance here. Let's not forget that he needs, well, he can take one pink to force the respot, but he'll go for the blacks. There's no doubt about that. Taking this to the corner, stun over for the black. Ooh, now then, now then. And that red on the right-hand side is not a problem for the right-hander.
And that's the only safe-ish ball on the table.
Yeah, a couple of inches away from that side cushion though. It's not that tough actually if he gets in behind it. Didn't play it that way, but he'll take it. Oh, what a steal this would be. Let's not forget the pink that Kyren missed in the middle. Frame ball. 6-3. Could it be 7-2? Ooh, that kicked. That's kicked and gone offline. That was not Ding's fault. That was a definite kick.
Ding Junhui 8.
We've had a few in this session. We've had 1 or 2 bounces as well, more than we've seen in the previous 6 days of this tournament. The table has been playing exceptionally well. Tables.
Another chance here then for frame ball. Is it there this time? It is. Well, now then. Mightily relieved to see that go in.
Yes, I'm sure that is the emotion, relief. But he has played well in the last 2 frames. It's been a really good response from Kyren Wilson. He hasn't allowed his head to drop. He is a battler. And he's given himself the chance now by taking frames 8 and 9 of this session of a comeback when they resume tonight.
Yes, great attitude from Kyren Wilson. Every credit.
104 in the previous frame. And 66 in this one. Just for a moment, he would have been concerned that Ding might just conjure what would have been a devastating clearance from his point of view. He's done exactly what he had to do when the last 2 frames of the session to keep his hopes alive. Ding Junhui still very much in the ascendancy. That's a very handy lead to take into the concluding session later on today. But Kyren Wilson is still in the match, and we still have a final on our hands here in Yushan. But at the end of the first session, in a best of 19 frame final here in Yushan, it's Ding Junhui who has the advantage. He leads by 6 frames to 3. He needs 4 more for the title.
放下手机。飞 10. Ding Junhui to play.
So Ding Junhui to get the World Open final underway once again. He leads 6-3. But I think this is the interesting thing about the psychology of 2-session snooker. It was 6-1. And Wilson's come back to 6-3. Had it been 3 each and Ding had won 3 in a row, might have been a different story. Now what's happening here? They're starting again, are they?
I just wonder if they broke out a turn.
Well, Wilson has been breaking in the even frames. So yeah, they have broke out a turn. It should have been Kyren Wilson to start. Well, rather unexpected start to the final session. So it is going to be Kyren to get us underway in frame 10. So Kyren Wilson is going to get the final session underway after Ding broke off out of turn. Yeah, I was saying that had it been 3 each and Ding wins the last 3, then he leaves the arena feeling really good. 6-1, it becomes 6-3. He's still in front, it's still a good lead, but Kyren Wilson just gave himself a little bit of hope, Joe.
Yeah, and the way that he won the last 2 frames as well, that's impressive. 2 big breaks, and just to let Ding Junhui know that he can play. Of course he knows that anyway, because he beat him in the event that he won in China. But he'll be feeling good, Kyren Wilson. That's for certain. And he seems to play his best snooker against the top players, which is a really good sign. So the table looks to be running superbly. I thought he'd hit that much too slow. Nearly got to the baulk cushion. I don't think he's got any option but to take this red on. It's a tough red. What a great shot from Kyren Wilson. That was a humdinger.
Exactly what he needs, not just getting in, but getting in with shots like that, just to, as I say, remind everybody that this isn't over yet. When he won the Shanghai Masters 2 years ago, he was 6-3 up going into the final session against Judd Trump, 1-10-9, so he knows these matches can get very close.
Yes, and I remember him playing Ronnie O'Sullivan, I think it was in Ireland last year, and his long potting was absolutely unbelievable. Really good. Took O'Sullivan by surprise.
Six.
He's already a winner this year. He won the gold medal, Kyren Wilson, at the World Games in Poland in July, beat Ali Carter in the final. That's an event for IOC accredited sports that aren't in the Olympics yet. And he's a winner in another sense as well, because his wife Sophie has recently given birth to their second child, Bailey.
Yes, we send our congratulations to both of them.
Yes, little brother for his other son, Finn.
Just under hit it slightly. She's going to keep the break going. He's going to have to play this black with a touch of left-hand side on the cue ball. Well, that red may be available. He may be able to come round for that red. Now, and that was the danger with playing it with side. It made the pot a lot more difficult. So 14 points, he'll be disappointed with that. When he potted the red to the middle, he didn't quite come back far enough.
If Ding were to win today, it would be his 13th world ranking title, so he'd move into 6th place on the all-time list on his own. He's currently tied with Neil Robertson and Mark Selby on 12. And 6th in his native China as well, more than anyone else. But still needs 4 frames. It's 150,000 to the winner. Of course, they count as ranking points, so he would go above John Higgins into 2nd place in the world rankings. Mark Selby still miles in front of everybody else.
A season in front.
You basically need the Hubble telescope to see him. That's how far in front he is.
Well, considering the long red down the right side of the table, the one closest to that right side cushion, but it's a difficult red. Now that was so risky, that red. Doesn't have to take a great amount of risks. He just needs to keep playing his natural game. Probably wouldn't have hit the reds had he potted the red. But an easy opener for Ding Junhui. Black doesn't go at the moment.
One.
And getting lots of applause, Ding Junhui, as you would expect.
Yes, it's 12.5 years since he broke through in very dramatic fashion in Beijing, 2005 China Open. The week he turned 18, beat Stephen Hendry to win that title and spark the snooker boom in China.
Yeah, what a boom it's been.
7.
Well, he got a little kick there, which stopped the cue ball running through for an easy blue. Hasn't had the cue ball cleaned. Yeah, good pot, but he'd like to get rid of that red closest to the left corner pocket as soon as possible.
12.
Can't see it this time round. Now, if he's got the right
13.
side of the blue, just about has. He needed just a little bit more angle to come down for the red that's closest to the black spot first. Get rid of that red, and the other red that's stopping the black going in the pocket. Didn't have the angle to play onto that this time round.
18.
Well, he could play for the black, and it's easy enough to play for the black in potting this red, but I prefer to go back up for the blue first. And that's what he's done.
19.
Now come down for the red that's closest to the black spot. Doesn't matter if he's not ideal on it, he could always take another red. And again, he's under-hit it.
24.
The problem is, if he does play for the black, it ties the black up, and he's only got the blue then. Pink being out of commission. Now, he could do with finish low on this red. That's closest to the black spot. And again, he's not ideal on it. Straighter, it would have been easy to play for the black. Now, can he get to the black? Yes, that's what the concern was, hitting that red behind the black spot.
Well, someone in the audience just been reminded that they've got to keep still, not take pictures, and generally behave themselves. Yeah, he just flicked off the red, so he's on the black.
Really got the balls where he wants them, especially if the black goes into the right corner.
38.
Which it wouldn't do. So this black harder than what it could have been. He just got a little bit too much right hand side on the cue ball.
Well, someone else being reprimanded by the referee, Shi Yuxin.
Yes, and this is a difficult shot. It needs a lot of consideration, this shot. A lot of concentration. Yeah, good shot. And played the cannon superbly onto the red to hold for this red to the right corner.
46.
That was a little pressure shot that he's overcome there. Good for his confidence.
47.
Yes, and a great chance now to win this frame. His highest break so far in the match, 93 in frame 5.
Well, that last shot wasn't good. He should have left an angle on this red, on this black. But no problem.
No, I mean, you can't
54.
play every shot perfectly, but it's about how you handle it if it goes slightly wrong, and it's still looking good for the frame.
Red colour red.
55.
Kyren Wilson came out attacking. He potted a great red early on, but then he missed one later in the frame to set up this chance for Ding.
$60.
Yes, and the audience knew that was
6-1.
frame ball. So did Ding.
So 3 snookers needed.
60-60.
Wait for it.
Well, is his name on the trophy? Okay, snookers were
67.
needed, but I'm sure Wilson would have played on there. Chance of the free ball. Don't think he will now.
67.
67 from Ding Junhui. Very nice break indeed to put himself just 3 frames away from the title. Wilson really does have it all to do now. It's Ding Junhui leading here in the final of the World Open in Yushan by 7 frames to 3. Ding Junhui has just broken off in frame 11 of a possible 19 in the final of the World Open, leading Kyren Wilson here 7-3. It's a pretty good break off as well. Kyren Wilson up against it here, looking to get in and try and put pressure on Ding. He did have a chance in that first frame.
Well, I wasn't sure what he played there. But whatever it was, it didn't work out. Maybe he was trying to play the cube, the red full in the face. Easy opener for Ding Junhui. And he's got his iron.
1.
Potted it thin. Very nearly missed the red. And that is a let-off for Kyren Wilson.
Ding Junhui 1.请大家保持安静。
Doesn't want it in. Oh, right on the angle. He could have just angled him. Well, enough so that it forced the mistake from Ding Junhui. Left a half chance for Kyren. Both these reds tough. But a very good rest player. Having said that, you'll probably miss it, but he is a very good rest player. Struck it so well.
One.
Didn't get enough power into the shot. Played for the blue, may have to take the pink.
Well, someone else is being told off.
Could just miss the yellow.
Yushan, where we are for this tournament, is about to become the world's first billiard sports city, and they're building all sorts of things involved in that: a museum, academy, and a new venue to host tournaments. This is being played in a middle school, this tournament. Oh dear, but Kyren Wilson, meantime, is in danger of being taught a lesson, because he's at the stage of the final where he can't afford to miss those.
Difficult shot. He'd already potted a couple of good ones, and there's a possible plant here. Oh, just wobbled in.
One.
I thought he'd missed that, but this is now a good opening. You can play onto the red just to the left of the black.
Yeah, just going back to what I was saying there about Yushan, you might not know this, Joe, there's no reason why you should, but slate that's mined in Yushan is used in the star tables that they play on, so there is a link with the city.
Wow, see, you learn something new every day. That is very interesting.
He looks very relaxing, isn't he? Of course, no way of knowing how he feels inside, but I thought that all week he's been serene, even when he was 3-1 down, for example, to Li Hang, quarter-finals. There was no sense of panic.
Yeah, he always looks relaxed, but you can tell if a person really is relaxed by the type of game that they're playing. If they're playing well and look relaxed, they really are. And as you say, players can cover it so well.
7.
But you start missing balls and all of a sudden the pressure can get to you very easily. I honestly thought that the way John Higgins was playing in the World Final against Mark Selby, I honestly believed that there was no way back the way he was playing. But one shot changed everything. He missed the pink into this left corner in attempting to split the reds, and from that moment on, the fighter that Mark Selby is just didn't let him off, and everything changed from that moment.
Yes, and Wilson needs a similar moment, I guess, from Ding at some point.
Yes, or he has to start scoring very heavy. Had a chance. When he missed that, well, I won't say easy red, but it was certainly potable for him. These could have been his, and so could the last frame. Got to score. Easy to say.
18.
Got a kick. Took the pace out of the cue ball, but it's just come past the balk line. In fact, he may try and go into the reds off 2 cushions. The referee wasn't waving to anybody, by the way. He's telling them to keep still. Preferred to play for that loose red, and nothing wrong with that, especially if he's on it, because it releases other reds.
21.
And he couldn't have played it any better, could he?
Of
course, I mentioned Wilson, the World Games, but Ding also winner already this year at the World Cup with Liang Wenbo. They beat Judd Trump and Barry Hawkins, the England team, in the final. He's not really played in much else. He played at the China Championship but lost to Alan McManus 5-0 in the last 32, and then 6 reds recently in Thailand, got to the last 16.
30.
What a great win that was for Alan McManus. Still a very, very good player. It shows you how well he could play. Now, how's it finished? Not good. A life, maybe, for Kyren Wilson.
37. Touch and ball.
Well, he's got a touching ball, which makes the safety shot very easy. But he wants to keep the break going. And he can just get the cue to this red. I thought he may have to use the spider. Oh, that's so unlucky. But it's come away from the pocket, which means that Kyren Wilson has left a more difficult red. It's a little bit like a football match, this, and when a team goes 3 down, 4 down or something like that, they have to move forward and attack. And it's similar now with Kyren Wilson, especially if he loses his frame. He's going to have to really go for his shots. Can't refuse anything, really. And a lot of pressure on that shot. Those are a lot easier when you're 7-3 up. Again, this isn't easy. And just held up. I thought it was going to be a little bit too hard and just a snooker, but now this is a great frame winning chance. Take an 8-3 lead. Again, I thought he'd missed that. But And it just wriggled in off that near jaw. Normally stay out when they hit that near jaw. The three reds surrounding the pink. Not easy to get onto one. You could play for the pink here, which would make it a little bit easier to play position. And that looks just about right to play the cannon to the red and leave himself on choice of reds.
Yes, so it's a couple more balls and it's going to be 8-3 and it's going to be a long, long way back for Kyren Wilson.
18. 19.
Applause for what the audience think is frame ball, but he could still tie. Not anymore.
I think they just like applauding him. And why wouldn't you? I mean, what a great sporting icon he is in this part of the world.
Yeah. Well, he is everywhere really, but especially in China. He's not in the least big-headed. He's very humble. And I think that's why so many people take to him.
Yes, and it might be quite an emotional win for him. His mother passed away earlier this year. This will be his first individual title since then, on home soil as well.
He's just making everything look so easy. That was a difficult shot as well. I know the game's won, but played it
51.
superbly, perfectly onto the yellow. And Kyren Wilson really has to attack the game and try and apply some pressure,
54.
because he could still apply pressure. An 8-3 lead. You know, you see a player coming back at you. Can certainly affect you, but he's got to do something.
Well, we've seen all sorts of recoveries down the years, but I think two things are going to happen. Yeah, Wilson's got to get in and start making breaks, but also Ding is going to have to fade away, and there's no sign of that right now. Playing superbly, in fact.
69.
So 69 to the pink, and Ding Junhui has made an excellent start to the final session of the World Open final here in Yushan. Extends his lead over Kyren Wilson, 8 frames to 3. Welcome back. So 8-3 to Ding Junhui, needing 2 more frames to complete victory here at the World Open. Kyren Wilson just looking to get in and try and apply pressure. There's 2 frames left before the interval, assuming of course we have an interval. He's really got to win them both.
请大家保持安静。飞挑 Kyren Wilson 准备。
Runner-up's prize is £75,000, which not so long ago would have been considered good for a first prize. The winner gets 150.
Caught it too thin. Hence the cue ball coming in and out of baulk, but nothing easy left for Kyren Wilson. The black could be tied up. Slightly hampered with the red to the right corner by the green. And doesn't have the best angle to get the cue ball back down the table, so being a little patient. Can't afford to take too many risks. He's got to be attacking, but he can't afford to go for shots that really aren't on, and that wasn't on, that red, to get to a colour. Oh, but he's unfortunate. He's left a chance at this red. Let off. Now, can he see enough of this red? Pink is on to the middle. If he can squeeze it in. Yeah, it looks tight, but I think he can get it. Just a little too pacey for the pink to be ideal on it. But these are the type of shots that I think he's got to take on. It's a tough one, real tough one, 8-3 down. But if it goes in, it could be a real confidence boost. The red next to the black will go, which releases the black into one pocket at least. I think he's got real good fighting qualities, Kyren Wilson, and that pink just might give him a little bit of a boost.
Seven.
Caught the red, which he didn't want to do, which leaves a more difficult blue than it could have been. Another good pot. Looks like it may have to be the blue again. I don't think the pink will go. Well, he heard it,
14.
but decided to stay down on the shot. Well, it could have affected him, the phone, because he didn't bring the cue ball back far enough. He didn't play for the blue into the corner. And now he's just got to sit and hope that Ding Junhui doesn't score heavy. And he's on this red, which he can get to the black from.
One. 9.
And when he takes this red, the black will then go in both pockets. So could screw around the back of these reds. Put the black into this.
Well, he's a break building genius really, Ding, isn't he? He's still only 30. He's made 458 career centuries, which means that he's 8th on the all-time list, just a couple behind Marco Fu. And there could be many, many more to come.
Yes, and especially if he keeps getting as many centuries
24.
as he did last year. Made 36 last year.
25.
People have made more, but 36 centuries a year is quite a lot of centuries. And now he's freed the reds. He's just full of confidence at the moment, and when his opponent's missing, just adds to his confidence.
Well, it's the blue this time from Wilson. But there, as I said earlier, there's a certain serenity to Ding this week.
$41.
Well, that didn't go according to plan. This is tough. Right in the middle, never touch the sides.
49.
And now red's lining up to be potted into the left corner and right corner.
$51. $52.
Perfectly onto the green.
So it's going to need a couple more reds here to lead
55.
9-3.
Yes, and no need to play the red on the cushion. The two open reds would be enough. Didn't like the contact.
$56.
So this is effectively frame ball to move to within 1 of winning the title. Just showing great touch, isn't he? Really is playing well.
64.
And punishing any sort of mistake. Kyren Wilson missed a blue. Ding stepped in.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? unfortunately, Kyren got good position on the red to get to the black, and there was no escape really for him then.
7-1.
The red stays up at 71. He's surely going to be enough for Ding Junhui to extend his lead yet further, and now he's just one away from becoming World Open champion. He leads Kyren Wilson by 9 frames to 3. So Ding Junhui on the brink of victory, 9-3. A few of the dignitaries are moving into position, which suggests they think there's not going to be much more of this. Well, there could be an interval. There will be if Kyren Wilson can win this next frame. But Ding has had breaks of 67, 69 and 71 in this session, having led, of course, 6-3 at the halfway stage. Kyren Wilson's had a great week. He's got himself back in the top 16. Worst case scenario, he goes home with 75 grand to see his new son. But of course he came here hoping to win the title, and he's got to just stick to his task, try and take it to an interval, and then see what happens after that. But Ding, as I say, looking serene, here to do a job, and very close to completing that job.
Ding Junhui to break.
So Ding Junhui to break in frame 13. Will it be the last frame of the final? Well, it will be if he wins it.
请将手机调到静音。
And all the phones and everything and the noise and the moving around doesn't seem to have affected Ding at all. It's almost like he just blocked it all out.
Yeah, which is easy to do when you're flying. But he was down on a red in the last frame when the phone went off, Kyren. And I think it did affect him. Didn't get position on the blue that he wanted. Well, the black tied up for the moment, and that could favour Kyren Wilson. Could just knock a few balls around for a few minutes.
Ball and a miss. Kyren Wilson 4.
Well, nothing easy left, so I'm not sure if it's more difficult to play safe from there than putting it back. Good pot. Wasn't leaving anything the way he played it. It needs another one now. He's played this well. If that cue ball just pulls up a little.
6.
Can he see enough of it? Looks like he can. Pink will go to the middle. Could screw up for the blue. He's been in first in all 3 frames. Nice little nudge on the reds. He's on a couple to the left corner.
Just while the ref gets the ping into position, our next snooker not long to wait. A week tomorrow, October the 2nd, will be in Lommel in Belgium for the European Masters. Luca Brecel, of course, will be
13.
centre of attention there, a little bit like Ding is here. Would have been anyway, but now, of course, he's won a tournament, was semi-finalist here this week as well, broken into the top 16.
It's just about got there, so he can pop the blue to the middle. Got to be fairly accurate with his positional play. Unless he tries to disturb something, which he did. He may be on a red to the middle. He's got one to the left corner.
19.
Yeah, and those are the kind of shots that he just can't afford to miss. The way that Ding Junhui is playing. And there is a red that will pot to the left corner. Thin shot. Well, missed that one by a long way. So Kyren Wilson straight back in again. Time to forget about that misread. And that's something that hasn't been happening so far. He's been punished.
One.
Well, did that cue ball run on or what? I can't believe it run that far, and neither can he. He seemed to have struck it beautifully to leave himself on one of these baulk colours, and this is really tough. And he may be going into the reds as well, so this has to go in. Well,
One.
very unfortunate. An inch shorter, he's got an easy baulk colour to go into the reds. Don't think the black will go to this left corner. So just concentrate on the red with an easy brown. Yes, he hasn't been letting him off, but twice now he's let Kyren Wilson off. He might just be seeing the winning line, Ding Junhui.
One.
It needs to slow down again, otherwise he won't be able to see the brown. What a big screw back this is going to be. Potted the brown a little thin. Wanted to come down the right side of the table.
5.
Well, I know he's good with the rest, but this would be some shot, especially if he played down for the blue. Great shot. That's a terrific shot, that, from Kyren Wilson.
6.
It just shows you how good he is with the rest. Timed it beautifully. And the crowd, to be fair to them, giving him support for these good shots that he's playing. And to hit it.
$17.
Always seems to have something just a little bit more difficult.
17.
And he's left that easy red now.
Yeah, just look where that red's finished. I mean, it could have finished anywhere, but it's right over the pocket.
I wonder if he'll try and develop the black here. He's got the angle to go into them. He's also got the angle to play for the blue. Ah, well, what can you say? That was a superb shot, and it could be a match winner. That was absolutely superb.
Well, what delicate touch.
Might just be able to play the cannon to the red and free the black into that left corner. Well, he can also play, let's have a look, not quite. So black will go on its own spot, or as close to its spot as it can. Now, big question now is, does it go to the right corner? The red does. I don't think the black does. But it shouldn't be a problem if it can, well, I was about to say, if you can pot the red that's touching the black, just screw back a little.
8.
The black must go.
9.
Now, if he gets the right side of the blue,
16.
and it's marvellous, isn't it, when you need to get the right side of the blue for certain. How many times do we leave it short? And that's a good kiss, raise of the hand. I don't think that'll make Kyren Wilson feel any better.
22.
No, I mean, he's developed the red for a start. He's on the red, and it's just going. Looks like it's going to be his day, doesn't it? The signs are there. Put it that way.
23.
Kyren's only life really is the two reds close together. Doesn't need the pink. Junhui. Now, do you play for the two reds first, or the red behind the black first? He's played for the two reds first. Half ball cannon. And he'll leave himself a great chance. And that's the half ball cannon.
$38. $39.
Now, may as well play for the red on the cushion. He needs it. He's got the angle to get to it. It looks like he's playing for the loose red.
$46. $47.
High on the black to leave himself perfectly on the red. And these pockets are playing a little bit easier along the cushion. Or easier. Still tough.
Yes, he's having the white clean, I think. He knows this really looking like the key shot now. He's been pretty ruthless in this session, in this match. 6-1, remember, and Wilson wins the last two with big breaks. That's food for thought for Ding, but came out
54.
really confident and, as I say, approaching possibly the key shot of this break now.
Well, he could have played the right side of the black, which would have left him snookered on this red. But he seemed to be down a long time on the shot there for me. 13 behind. He needs the difficult pink. Nicely on the blue. If that pink is touching the cushion, and he only needs the pink, and he could drop in dead behind it, it should be okay.
8. $11.
Oh, he could have done with being straighter on the blue. Now he's got a decision to make. Does he play to move it or drop in behind it? Played to move it. And it could have been easier.
20.
Just needs the pink.
请观众保持安静。
Oh, he couldn't have got any closer than that without the pink dropping.
So Ding is going to need pink and black. Yeah, he got so close to that. The pocket nearly grabbed it. He knows it.
I cannot believe that didn't go in the way he played it and how close it was. Now, where's it going to finish? Another chance for Kyren Wilson. And these are the type of shots that he normally knocks in.
Yeah, of course, the complication for Ding was that he needed the black as well. Wilson just needs the pink to take us to an interval. Still got a chance.
Well, I say those are the shots he normally knocks in, but what pressure there was on that for Kyren Wilson.
You could feel everyone holding their breath, couldn't you? You could sense it.
You could.
And they're going to do the same here.
Yep. One good shot. And he's the champion. It's there. He played a black similar to that.
So Ding Junhui needs this black for career ranking title number 13. He's played brilliantly all day, and here's the champion in Yushan. Very tight last frame, but he's dominated this match, certainly dominated the final session, and he is the World Open champion in 2017. You can just see the delight on the faces of the crowd. Ding about to pocket a cheque for £150,000 and take away the World Open trophy. He beats Kyren Wilson by 10 frames to 3.
有请中国上岛绿山33杯2017斯诺克世界公开赛的冠军得主丁俊晖。
接下来让自己稍微放个假期，然后重新休整一下，去迎接下个比赛。这一周我觉得非常的好因为在休赛期结束以后在这个初开始的几个比赛我打的都不是很好，但是这一周我发挥的都很好，我觉得自己很满意，然后也很开心看到自己这种状态。
好，非常感谢。我想丁俊晖想表达的意思也是，正是玉山这块宝地给他带来这一次的好运，让他夺冠如愿以偿。然后我们也在此预祝小辉今后接下来的赛程中，能为我们中国赢得更多的荣誉。让我们将最热烈的掌声送给丁俊晖。
来，你看这个。
Let us welcome CPPCC Shutdown 3 together in Montenegro,
第三次你出场。
好，有请我们现场击中的射击的球迷保持安静有请我们廖市长宣布大赛闭幕。
现在我宣布，中国上岛绿山201733杯斯诺克世界公开赛胜利闭幕。
好，让我们值此完美赛事，真心相约，明年再聚，再见。